Well, hello. We are starting a live, and I'm going to add a comment. Kyle at crystalconcentrics.com is how you reach us and make claims. Okay? So I'm posting that. And then I'm going to see if there's a way I've pinned it. So I have now pinned a comment to the top of this. Now, it probably won't allow the pinning just yet because I need to get some more comments. So if you're just tuning in, please say something, say hello. I am showing you all kinds of amazing new items that I have acquired in mid-July of 2023. And I'm going to be putting them out for sale, integrating them onto my website and also my store, and also when I go to do shows out there in the world. So if you want to say hello, if you see anything you like, take a screenshot and email me, kyle@crystalconcentrics.com. Once I get a few more comments, I am going to be able to pin my email address, which is the first comment that I've listed. So there's a lot of interesting stuff here, and periodically I'm going to go over all of it again for those who are new to the live to show you everything. This is particularly crazy. These are Chinese brachiopods. They are giant curvaceous clams from millions of years ago. Quite amazing. Large stuff like this, it's a little hard to sell online because the postage can be unpredictable, but it is amazing. This is also outstanding. This is a huge plate of hematite, which is kind of heart-shaped. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Say hello. Maybe let us know where you're from. What I'm doing here is a live preview of a bunch of new material I've gotten. These are all shark teeth from Morocco. And then this is material I've gotten. These are all shark teeth from Morocco. And then this is kind of crazy. This is a combination of pyrite and magnetite, which is an unusual thing. This is so beautifully carved. I like it a lot. Now, I haven't been doing lives that frequently. The live format hasn't really worked for me, but I'm committed to trying to turn that around. One of the things that I do is I post my lives on my YouTube channel, which is Crystal Concentrics also. This here looks like a person reclining. It is a giant, naturally sculptural, reclining, sleeping being in stibnite, which is a metallic crystal from China. Stick with me because there's lots more interesting items. This is a nicely polished lepidolite, and when you turn it on the other side, you see the rough. So it's polished on one side, rough on the other, has a custom stand that was built for it, and it looks like a little mountain range. So if you see anything you like and you're interested in learning more, just screenshot it and email me, kyle@crystalconcentrics.com, and I'll be happy to let you know about pricing. Right now, it's not easy for me to price on the fly. As you can imagine, big pieces like this are going to be into the hundreds, and smaller pieces will be less. These are agate slabs, which seem to be coming back into vogue. They arrived to us from Brazil, and you've got everything from kind of reddish, pink, blue, orange, whatever you want to call some of these colors. This is very, very different. This is a slab of petrified tree fern. So it's from the Permian period, and I don't know exactly how old the Permian period is, but I think it's pretty darn old, going into the hundreds of millions of years. So this is so outstanding and interesting to look at visually that I had to get it, and I know that someone will be very happy to add it to their collection. Over here we have a tree, and we usually have carried these trees. They sit on top of rose quartz or amethyst, and this is the first time we've seen them on quartz, which is kind of cool. In back here we have some very interesting plates, large, round, they could hold cool. In back here we have some very interesting plates, large, round, they could hold stuff, large, round moonstone plates. And I'm undecided as to what I want to call this. Sunshine moonstone. If you have any suggestions, I'd welcome a description, a color description. What color are these moonstones? Are they yellow? I guess yellow is probably as close as we're going to get. And there's a great big dyed agate. And usually I don't care about dyed agates, but this has a really nice little druzy section there, and the patterning is perfectly great. Over here we have silicon carbide, which is made in a lab, but it's kind of interesting stuff, and I would recommend it to anyone who likes cool and interesting and different stuff. It's got a lot of rainbow colors going on. Very, very fascinating material. Thanks to those who are joining. If you want, let me know where you're from. This is Kyle of Crystal Concentrics, and I'm doing a preview of new crystals that I have gotten. Large stash of aquamarine, ranging from this blue over here to, this green over here to a much bluer color there. Over in here we have little standing points of imperial topaz, which is kind of cool. There's pink ones. There's more points, but they're not standing. Those are rough chunks, fragments, and more nicer fragments. Imperial topaz is a cool thing. I like it, and I'm glad that I finally have it to share with people. There's a beautiful Illinois fluorite. It's a nice cubic and with a very interesting texture on the surface. And then we have a bunch of these smaller, and I think the right collector will be pretty excited about it. Over here we have a favorite of mine. This is called Blue Tara Quartz, and you'll notice that it's double terminated and is a floater. There's no break points, even though there is a little bit of polishing that happened on some of the faces, maybe to make it more attractive. Anyway, this ribosite in quartz is quite unusual. You'll notice it's blue, and you look in and it has a lodolite garden quartz look to it, which I like a lot. Thanks for joining whoever's just come on. It's Kyle Russell from Crystal Concentrics, and I'm sharing with you a preview of some amazing new crystals that I've gotten. There's another one of those crazy, some amazing new crystals that I've gotten. There's another one of those crazy brachiopods, which are fossilized clam shells. And this is another petrified tree fern, which is quite extraordinary with all that wonderful pattern going on. Kind of sweet. Then over here we have some really good quality 3D ammonites. This has been polished. I like that the underside here has a kind of silver sheen to it, almost like the little cap that real existing snails use when they go hide. Hello, Crystal Ghost Girl. I am glad to be sharing with you some of this interesting stuff. This is quite unusual. These are tumbled stones of cobaltocalcite. Cobaltocalcite is not something that you see tumbled. And it comes from Africa, and usually in Africa, the cobaltocalcite is just sort of like a sandpaper thickness druzy coating on matrix. So to find stones that are actually saturated in color with the cobaltocalcite tone, that's not like any other pink, is kind of a great thing. So I look forward to putting these on sale. I've got another interesting thing here, which is another ammonite with this crazy black line down the middle. It has been polished up, but it is quite amazing, and it does stand on its own, which is very, very cool. So if you see something that you like, the different agate bands. Over here we have something quite unusual. This here is an azurite with fibrous malachite. That combination is very unusual to see. This one is particularly nice. This is the one I think I might end up putting online. But I really like this long one and that long one too. They're very sculptural and they sort of recline. Like this one here, if you look at it, it's just like a big reclining triangle. And this is apparently a new find out of the Congo. Very deep, rich, pretty colored stuff. It wasn't cheap, and I debated, should I have just gotten one? Maybe I should have gotten a smaller one. But whatever, I got 4 of them, and they're all cool, and someone will hopefully express interest in them because I just recently sold one online, which was kind of a cool thing to do. Over here we have a very unusually colored ammonite from England. So most of the ammonites that you'll see are from Madagascar or Morocco, and this one is from England, which is kind of amazing, and the color is just so special. I don't know if you're really seeing. Yeah, there you go. It's got a crazy kind of indigo, purple, lavender, blue tone that I have not seen in any other fossil, so I'm pretty excited about that. Crystal, by the way, if you're liking the broadcast, you may consider joining our mailing list, visiting crystalconcentrics.com and subscribing, because we send out a newsletter once a week with a featured video from YouTube. Notice how the light is playing with this. This is called a pagoda calcite. And this one I do have priced. It was $260 and now it's $130. So a lot of items we end up putting on wholesale discount for people, where we tell you what the true value is. And then if you're buying it for your personal collection, you can get it for that same half price. Or if you're going to resell it, you know what the benchmark is in terms of what you could or should sell it for. So that's kind of cool. Another comparably valued, yes, iridescent for sure. Another incredible find here is a cluster of Madagascar citrine. So this is natural citrine. It's really glittering nicely on the camera. And if we go here, it was on one of these faces. Look for a record keeper. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of hard to see on the face that I'm flashing on the left there. There's a little tiny record keeper. Anyway, we're not going to capture it on this video. But that's an amazing piece, and since I specialize in natural citrine, it's a great addition to the collection. This is interesting. This is aura quartz, angel aura specifically. And what I like about it is that it has this sort of pink sector over here, which is kind of unusual. Oh, thank you, Crystal, for doing that, for going to our website, crystalconcentrics.com, signing on to our mailing list. I'm looking to do some lives for hours. I have only ever done half an hour at a time or 15 minutes, just because it gets boring for me and I want to stay focused. And what TikTok allows me to do is to save the video, which I can then upload to YouTube. So I have a playlist on YouTube of all of my shorter lives. If I start going 2 or 3 hours, there's just no way I'm going to be able to do these types of recordings, because recording a multi-hour video and uploading it to YouTube is a little too ambitious. So we're going to have to get real official about when we do these lives and how long they are. But I just wanted to make sure to share with you this amazing collection of new crystals that I literally got this month and that I think will go really well at shows and really well online. Sometimes I get so many pieces like these shark teeth that I can sell those wholesale at a wholesale show that I do. Notice this person lying down, which is really a conglomeration of stibnite crystals, which is kind of great. Earlier, I went over all these aquamarines, and all of the ones in these perky boxes, they would actually stand by themselves. And the only reason we put a little bit of gummy stuff under them is so that they stand nicely in the boxes, and I think they present much better. In case you missed it earlier, these are little magnifications that look at the points of imperial topaz. That's all imperial topaz, which is kind of cool. I'm going to be figuring out what to sell these for. They're not going to be expensive, that's for sure. Here's a different type of angel aura. And so if you're not familiar with the aura concept, they plate precious metals onto quartz and it produces incredible outcomes. Notice the fine little druzy here looks kind of blackish and glittery. And then you have this ridiculous rainbow glitteriness at the bottom, and it's flat so that it actually stands on a shelf kind of nicely. I like that a lot. Over here we have an unusual milky quartz geode. You'll notice from the outside that it's quartz from start to finish. Usually we see these things from Morocco, but this one is from Brazil, and somebody built a custom wooden stand for it, which is very cool. Oh, I'm glad you're liking everything. Yeah, I've worked really hard to select some very special pieces. You're liking everything. Yeah, I've worked really hard to select some very special pieces. Oh, this one's crazy. All right, so this one apparently, you'll notice it's double terminated. So there's crystals coming out on one side and crystals coming out on the other side. And even this part where it looks like it may have been broken off from more of itself is still all crystallized. And when something is all crystallized like this, we imagine it was formed in solution, and we call it a floater. And this one is from Colombia, and it's pink. And pink crystals have a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And it's kind of expensive, but very, very cool stuff. I would have bought more if the prices had been more reasonable. But as it is, I think that was the most outstanding piece, and I think someone will be really interested in checking it out. Speaking of outstanding pieces, look at these. I figured out exactly what I want to sell them for, but they're definitely great ones. Over here we have something new and different. So this, you may not be able to see the sheen. Let me turn the other side. It's hard to catch the sheen on this. Let me show you the sheen that's going to be defining here for this type of material. This is Moonstone, okay? Now, Moonstone comes in the popular jewelry form as Rainbow Moonstone, but this is what we call Black Moonstone. This is cut a little bit like a leaf. And over here we have a nice teardrop, and over here we have a great big sort of slightly more amorphous teardrop, irregular teardrop. Over here we have a giant cabochon of ocean jasper, which is kind of cool. Very, very beautiful diamond here. Looks a little bit like a, it's quite deep. Very, very solid, like a kite, you know what I mean? This is a nice moon, and this nice sort of eye shape here is sort of sweet. And there's one I set aside that I'm going to make into pendant. Over here we have a really, really, really cool ammonite, which also I'm thinking might work really well as a pendant. It's got great color over here. And I could sell it like this or turn it into a pendant, and then someone could wear it. Now, one set of ammonites we would not be turning into a pendant is these here. This here is a crazy ammonite graveyard from Germany, of all places, and it's on sale from $600 to $300. It's called Dactyloceras Ammonite Graveyard, and it's very, 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 very cool piece. People who collect fossils often see things from Madagascar or Morocco, but this one is totally amazing and from an unusual source, which is Germany. There's another quick glimpse. I'm going to take another little walk and show you. There was the dinosaur poop, the aquamarines, the moonstone plates, the unusual crystal tree, the petrified tree fern with all this amazing patterning here. This is a particularly extraordinary, it is essentially a dogtooth calcite, but because it's translucent, you could call it a golden healer calcite. And it is it's very wide, and I mean, it displays nice in a stand. I have to find the right stand for it, but I will eventually. So anyone who's interested in anything that you see, I am going to be reposting this on my YouTube, which is Crystal Concentrics. That's my brand. Less thick, like this one here. This is a crazy mountain range of lepidolite, which is rough on one side, polished on the other, and has a stand that it sits nicely into. There is some things that I haven't covered yet, so I'm coming over here. We've got some of these crazy dyed agates, and each one is quite special. Look at that funny little world of druzy pink quartz with the crazy bullseye. This one's purple, also with druzy in there. This one is like some sort of sunrise. This one is very interesting. It's a half-filled tunnel within a nice little geode druzy section. So that's kind of cool. Over here we have a crazy little pewter wolf who's sitting on top of a rock. This comes from Arizona, the rock does. Apparently it was all black and manganese like this, and the sun baked off the manganese and shows the sort of iron-coated part of the rock, which is kind of cool. Hello, everyone who's joining. Thank you so much. I'm Kyle Russell of Crystal Concentrics, and this is a collection of new find of azurite with fibrous malachite. That's a very cool combination. Very great iridescent ammonite over here. And then the last tray, the rest of the ones I want to show you, these are what I call dragon quartz from Morocco. Now you'll notice the iron is on the outside of this quartz. And actually, this isn't quite as dragony as this. These are a little bit like cactus quartz because they have all sorts of glitters and terminations. This is kind of like, I'm glad you love azurite. I don't know if your posts are showing in real time or not. It feels like they're a little time delayed. And I'm so glad you've stayed to watch. Look at this beautiful little druzy pocket here in this essentially carnelian sphere holder or bowl. You could put a couple of rings in there. There's another one and another one. So I have three of those. This one's probably the best one for sure. And then you have this crazy material. This is a mix of marcasite and other stuff. And apparently it looks like, I think this is the marcasite, although it does look like pyrite on the top. This stuff is called Szalen blend. It comes from Poland, and these are some of the most spectacular pieces that I've ever seen of it. They'll display so nicely on a stand. And I have three of them. 1, 2, and 3. This one reminds me like a little wolf here that's jumping over a fence or something, maybe a fox. This one's quite amazing. This looks like some sort of weird... Our agates, we've got carnelian sphere holders, we've got these crazy Szalen blends, we've got dragon hematoid quartz, we have this interesting little wolf, or coyote probably is what it is. We have these nice Buddhas and this cool ammonite. We have these beautiful fluorites. We have fire moonstone, and we have ocean jasper. I think that's it in that collection. This is a crazy slab of German ammonites. Here we have druzy or small crystalled angel aura. And over here we have a more traditional cluster that has been plated to become angel aura. This is the pink Colombian quartz. Hello, wire-wrapped earth turds. You might appreciate this. These are dinosaur poops, which have been fossilized. So I'm doing the final review here of all the cool things that I purchased recently. These I call, it's cool stuff. This is silicon carbide. We have a great fluorite, Illinois fluorite over here. And then we also have these yellow Moonstone trays, round bowls, and petrified tree fern. This interesting reddish version with the red periphery, and this one with the darker periphery with a white inside and some very, very cool patterning inside of it. Here we have our great big Moroccan spiky dogtooth healer calcite, golden healer calcite. We have a cool mountain range of lepidolite. We have our reclining stibnite person. We have an Apache gold freeform polish and a nice willemite and franklinite. These crazy brachiopods from franklinite. These crazy brachiopods from China. Some shark's teeth. And last but not least, we have this hematite plate, which is shaped like a heart. And I'll lift it up a little bit so you can see it's quite thick. It's a pretty interesting piece. I like it a lot. It feels really good to put your hand right on it. I feel like taking it to shows just so people can touch it is not a bad idea. So